A new Battle Royale based off of Titanfall is on the way, and the banhammer arrived for APB Reloaded players. All that and more, I'm Ethos, and this is Free to Play Weekly. First off in the news this week, some unsuspecting players who logged into APB Reloaded recently got a little bit of a surprise when they discovered their accounts had been banned from the game, either permanently or temporarily. As it is generally with cases of mass bans, the Gamer First team was hit with a load of inquiries from banned players demanding to know why they had been banned or insisting they've done nothing warranting a ban. As it turns out, the number of inquiries was enough to prompt Gamers First CEO Mascot to hop on the forums and lay out the reasoning behind all the bans. The company has been working with Battlerite for a while to detect and block cheaters and hackers in the game. Some were given a permanent block. These blocks were sent out on the accounts that the company had spent time researching and collecting evidence against those players. Luckily for a good portion of the banned players, those permanently banned accounts for a small portion of those affected. The rest of the bans are temporary ones based off of Battlerite detection. Over time, the staff will review these and determine which ones should remain and which ones should be reverted. Players who wish to discuss their bans with the staff will need to reach out to Gamers First support. Just keep in mind that it will take a while due to the high number of people affected by the ban. And moving on to some more spicy news that I'm actually really excited about, a free-to-play Battle Royale game based on Respawn Entertainment's Titanfall is in the works, and it's probably going to be officially announced today. That's word coming from multiple news sources over this weekend stating that the upcoming title will probably be named Apex Legends. According to our source, the game will run on Valve's Source Engine and will have a class and a maximum of 60 players per server, 3-player teams, and microtransactions and cosmetics in loot boxes, with a very similar approach to that in Overwatch. At least one tester seems highly enthusiastic about the game, stating that the game definitely has a lot of potential, and I don't think it'll get old fast either. Was sad to leave when the time was up, and I really can't say that about any new games in this game drought. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm actually curious to see how Respawn will implement the BR style mechanics into a Titanfall game. Funny little thing is that months ago during a podcast that I was a part of, I actually stated that if anybody was going to make a Battle Royale game, I would really be interested in seeing Respawn take a stab at it with its Titanfall movement and possibly maybe Titans. Of course, more information will be known by the time this video goes live, but I definitely think you guys should keep your eyes out on this game regardless. And speaking of more Battle Royale, on February 19th, Stunlock Studios' MOBA brawler Battlerite Royale will officially launch on Steam, leaving early access and the cost to get in behind. On that date, the game won't only go free to play, but it will also include a massive update. Details on the new update have yet to be provided yet, although Stunlock does promise that they'll reveal it in the coming weeks. At the same time, the company does have plans for a major update to their original Battlerite game, which will also be released on the 19th. So back in December last year, we learned that Dauntless would be heading to the Epic Game Store in 2019. Today, Phoenix Labs provided some details on how this changeover, which is still a few months away, will happen. When the switch does actually happen, the current Dauntless launcher will be retired. If you already have an Epic Games account, you'll just need to link it to your Dauntless account, an option that will be offered soon. Otherwise, your Dauntless account will be converted into an Epic Games account. In either case, all your progress will be carried over, and Phoenix Labs hopes you'll be able to port your Dauntless friends list over as well. An extensive FAQ can be found on the Dauntless website. That's probably about as painless as it can get, though there'll probably be some Dauntless fans who aren't happy about being, I guess, forced to create an Epic Games account. That said, the added visibility on the still brand new Epic Games Store could help boost Dauntless and expose it to a lot more people who are looking for free-to-play games to try out, and thus will help boost its profits, which Phoenix Labs can then use in return to improve its game, if they can tear people away from Fortnite, that is. And for a final news bit, QC Games president and CEO Dallas Dickerson had plenty to say about his company's game Breach, which is currently in early access. His primary focus is on how the team approached the challenge of asymmetric gameplay and how it provides varying strategies for players. He said, "When you set up a game where the goals for each side are exceedingly different, finding the weird optimal paths may be in the psychology of the player. You already know you're doing something different from that player, so what other weird things can you try out?" To support that, Dickerson said Breach hopes that players on both sides, Hero and Veiled Demon, have a deep toolkit that they can pull strategies from. He hopes that it will lead to both a number of viable strategies, but also full-length matches and 50-50 final boss fights between players and the Veiled Demons. He also, interesting enough, brought up Heroes of the Storm, which in creating non-standard MOBA maps that tried to do something different other than the typical 3-lane push, wound up restricting itself and reducing the number of viable strategies. That stands in contrast to League of Legends, Dickerson said, which tries to offer 1 to 4 alternate strategies every season to counter what Riot Games perceives as optimal strategies. In short, Riot seeks to improve variety by giving players more to do in its core mode, whereas Heroes of the Storm tried to do this by giving players more modes to play. While those might not seem equivalent on the surface, more and more, after all, it's made so that in those alternate modes, there were optimal strategies that made those modes repetitive. Now, I'm not intimately familiar with all the Heroes of the Storm mechanics and maps, but I'd assume it was difficult or at least impossible to tweak those maps or heroes so as to introduce the same level of strategy without causing problems across the rest of the game. Whatever the case, it's nice to see devs for a new game looking at the efforts of games that have come before them, even games that don't necessarily seem to match their exact genre, and getting to the core of what worked and what didn't work and why. Dickerson also had some things to say about Evolve, which also seems a little bit similar to Breach with its asymmetrical gameplay, so make sure you guys check out the full interview on GameIndustry.biz. And that moves us to the question of the week. So with the incoming announcement of Apex Legends, which is based in the Titanfall universe, let me know if you guys have played Titanfall 2, what do you guys think about that game, and more specifically, with that knowledge in hand, are you actually interested in this Battle Royale game? Do you think it'll be interesting? Are you worried about the loot boxes? Do you think that Respawn can actually pull it off? Me personally, I'm really excited for this game because in my opinion, Titanfall 2 is probably one of the best shooters in the past decade, and I'm very excited to see if they can transfer those type of mechanics over to a BR game and make it work really well. So let me know in the comments section below. And that's it for this week's Free-to-Play Weekly. Don't forget to check out mmobomb.com for giveaways and the latest news. My name is Ethos, and I'll catch you guys next week.